God, I thank you. I didn't get up to preach, but when I think of the goodness of Jesus and all he done for me, my soul, I know my wife and I went through COVID, but COVID can't stop me because I got to praise anyhow. My. Tell your neighbor, say, I got to praise anyhow. Can we take 60 seconds to do an anyhow praise? Whatever you want to do, jump up or whatever you do an anyhow praise. There it is. I see it over here.
Grace and peace, IBW family. Wow. Great to be on tonight. It's been some weeks since we've been live. I pray that everyone has been enjoying their summer. I pray that you are still feeling and remembering the experience in Alexandria, Virginia, of the power and the presence of God moving. Greatly appreciate everyone that attended the convocation, those who logged in virtually, those who were a part of the in-person experience. It was absolutely tremendous. We had some great speakers, singers, and most of all, we had great fellowship. Got to see so many family and friends that I hadn't seen in a few years, and so we thank you for all of your support. I see you logging in, Alexis. I see you logging in, Anisha, Philip McMullen. I see you logging in, Jeanette Harris. I see you logging in, Inman, South Carolina, Greater Bible Way, Miracle Temple. Sorry. I see you logging in, Deshaun. I see you. Denise Drumright. I see you. Lowell Thomas. I see you. Gail Bentley. Hello. Elder Dotson, I see you. See everyone logging in from different places tonight. Mama Gray, how you doing? I see you logging in tonight. Tonight is going to be a little different tonight. We're going to do a financial conversation. This is a presentation. So, Tuesday nights are a little different from our Wednesday nights. There are always topical conversations that we will have on our Tuesday nights. And tonight is one that is going to focus on finances. We have one of our sponsors from Convocation that will be on with us tonight, Don Wilson and Carl Frank Felton II from Civil Benefits Group. We have a great dialogue and conversation tonight. One of the things that we're going to do, though, we're going to open up tonight. We're going to open up tonight with a video. It's a 8-minute video, so I need you to be patient. Do me a favor. I need you to tag, share, comment, like. I need you to do all of that. And I want you to tag everybody. How many bodies? I need you to tag everybody tonight. This is some pertinent information, and I believe that the conversation is something that's going to be beneficial to you personally and to your family. And there's going to be some opportunities for some Q&As. So don't log off. Just stay with us tonight. And so I'll bring them on shortly. But right now, we're going to watch a video. We're all going to watch it together. We're going to watch a video together. Let's keep the comments hot. And we'll be in the chat. All right. So here we go.
Hey there, Ibw. So much for money. We're showing you exactly how to get tax-free income, just like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. If you have been watching the news anytime recently, you probably read about how two of the richest people in the world, to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars, they had their tax returns released to the media, and it was discovered that they paid very little income tax at all. Everybody was outraged. Everyone was waving their hands in the air about how the two richest people on the planet were paying very, very little taxes. They assumed that there had to be some sort of crazy tax loophole or using some complicated strategies in order to do this. But the truth is what they did was actually very simple. And in fact, if I were them, I probably would have done it too. And today what I'm going to show you is that so can you. What I want to do is I want to first start off by showing you exactly what Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk did in order to accumulate wealth and receive the income from it completely tax-free. And then I'm going to move on to show you 3 different ways that you can do it too, in everyday strategies that you already be doing, and you just might not realize it. So let's go ahead and talk about exactly what Elon and Jeff Bezos did to do this. So imagine, first off, in order to do this, they had to only create a multi-trillion-dollar company from scratch and build it up into the biggest and most powerful companies on the planet. So it's no small feat that they accomplished. But by doing that, they accumulated this massive amount of wealth in the form of stock that they own in their own company. Now, come time to receive income, they have a choice. Are they going to receive income in the form of salary like the rest of us? Where if they do that, they're going to get taxed at a 50% income tax rate, or maybe even 60, depending on what state you're in. And they're going to lose more than half of that in the form of an expense in the form of taxes. Or the other way that they can do it is that they can take that compensation in the form of stock options. And what they chose was the latter. So they've built their wealth. Their net worth is completely tied to the stocks that they own and the stock options that they take as compensation. Well, as that stock grows and it gets bigger and bigger, they're not being taxed on it because they're not actually selling the positions. They're not going to get taxed unless they actually sell it. But why would they sell it? If they sell it, they're going to get taxed at an incredible rate, and they don't want to do that. They're smart people. They're savvy people. They don't want to pay anything that they don't have to pay. So instead, what they do is it's very simple. They go to a bank. They ask the bank for a loan. They borrow from that bank, and they use their stock and their holdings and their options that they have as collateral to secure that loan. They might pay 2% to borrow that money rather than paying 15 or 50% in the form of income tax. That is how they are getting their money completely tax-free. It's very simple. There's no tax loopholes. And in fact, I could speak for myself. I would do it the same way if I were them too. The only difference is the scale and the scope that they're able to do it. And it's simple that they're worth hundreds of billions of dollars. And so they can just do it on a much larger scale. So now that I've talked about exactly what they did in order to get tax-free income, I want to transition and show you exactly what you can do. I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can do this too. And in fact, you might already be building wealth in these areas in order for you to get tax-free income in some form or another now or in retirement. So the first way is the most common way that you might already be building up wealth, and that is in the form of your house. You buy a house, you have to do a down payment, you pay your mortgage, you're paying down the principal, you're buying new homes, and over your life, you build up more and more value in your home. So first you have to purchase a home. Second, you have to build up that equity through principal payments and the asset growing itself. Now you go into retirement and you suddenly realize that, hey, I have all this money inside of my house and I really don't have access to it. I can't get that money out. So you go to a bank and you get a reverse mortgage and you use your house as collateral. You borrow from a bank and they give you income from the equity on your home completely tax-free. This is something that millions of Americans do every single year using the biggest asset they have in their house. Now, there's some downsides to this. It's not that simple. And if you're too young to do a reverse mortgage, then you actually have to qualify for a loan. And the time you might need the money the most, you might not be able to actually do that. So there's limitations. And second, there's some downsides of doing reverse mortgages that many people are just scared about. That could keep them from wanting to do that. So there's always some sort of string attached. The second way that you can do this is through just regular investment accounts, similar to how Bezos and Musk did it themselves. You first have to fund and buy some sort of investments, whether it's mutual funds, stocks, or bonds, something you have to buy them. When they grow, they might be taxed. There might not be taxed. It really just depends on what type of investment you have, but it must be a non-qualified account. You can only do this with non-qualified accounts, and most people accumulate wealth in qualified accounts, which is one of the downsides. And then it's simple. Once it comes time that you want that money, instead of selling those investments that might have gained a substantial amount of growth over that period of time, instead of cashing them out and paying taxes, you're just simply going to go and borrow money from the investment company on margin and get a tax-free loan instead of having to pay taxes. Super simple. Many people can do this right now. Now, there's some downsides. There's risk in these investments. And the other thing is the amount you can borrow is limited, because these investments can go down if the stock market crashes, and you can suddenly have a margin call where you have to pay that money back right away. So this is not for everybody, and not everybody has access to something like this. So the third way that you can do this, and this is accessible to most anybody, is through cash value life insurance. Cash value life insurance, specifically indexed universal life insurance, IUL, is a very favorable way that anybody can get started. I first got started with mine at $300 a month when I was 24 years old. That was a long time ago. And I've been able to build up quite a bit of wealth inside one of these policies. But you can do it at an older age at whatever amount that you can contribute. The key is it has to be maximum funded. Now, what this means is this is not your normal insurance policy. This is not the normal policy that you go out and buy. It has to be specifically designed with the intent of doing exactly what we're talking about. It has to have the minimum amount of death benefit so that the costs are as low as possible. And you have to pay the maximum premium every single year so that you can build up wealth inside one of these vehicles. By doing this, you grow your money completely tax-free. I've never paid a dime of taxes on any of the wealth that I've grown within my insurance policy. And when it comes time to access the money, you can do it completely tax-free. And it's simple. You use your cash value as collateral, you borrow money from an insurance company, and the money you borrow is totally tax-free. As long they're going to charge you 3%, 4%, 5% to loan the money, and as long as your cash value grows at a higher rate than that, you never have to pay back the loan. So you can see that there's some easy ways that you can do this too. So we've talked about the way that Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk did it to a scale and scope that none of us probably can ever achieve. But I've also shown you ways that you can do it yourself. But there's a common thing amongst all of these, and that is that you first have to build up wealth. If you can't start up a multi-trillion-dollar company, then you can start somewhere over here. Some of these are easier than others. This is the insurance policy is the easiest because it requires the least amount of capital. But you first have to build wealth. And the reason is once you build that wealth, the second thing that you have to do is you have to be able to use it as collateral. You have to be able to use that asset as collateral. And as long as you can do that, whether you're Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, or whether you have one of these types of accounts, including an insurance policy, then you can collateralize it and you can borrow against it and you can get income completely tax-free. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation, and I hope that now you can see exactly how you can get tax-free income just like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience tonight and taking time to view the video presentation. I have a special group of brothers that are on with me tonight. We have Mr. Don Wilson, as previously mentioned, Carl Frank Felton II of Civil Benefits Group tonight. Gentlemen, say hello to the audience, and if you could just do me a favor and just kind of give a little more introduction about yourself. I just gave you names, but you can let them know how long you've been working in the financial industry.
Perfect. Thank you for having me. I'll jump in and go first if I may. Again, Don Wilson at Civil Benefits Group. I've been in this business since 1990. I hope everybody on the call was at least born then. But if not, that's okay too. But Civil Benefits Group, we've been in business for about 10 years now. I've worked for a whole bunch of other people in this industry, but opened up my own store, about 10 years ago, and now we don't have to report to anybody. We're able to deliver better value to our clients. In 17 states, we're doing business in. About 60 agents in the downline. So, we're servicing a lot of people. We're doing a lot of good by folks. Background worked a lot in the public employee space, a lot with federal employees, a lot with other public sector employees, and then just recently began doing some faith-based initiatives, working with pastors and bishop level and then national and state level, again with faith-based organizations, just helping them with some of the marvelous financial services opportunities that are out there that I think everybody just needs to know about. So I'll let you jump in, Carl.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and praise the Lord. I'm Carl Felton. Been in the business, the financial services business, since about 1983. And I have worked in various facets of the financial services, worked in banking. Also, I currently a licensed mortgage professional as well. So, been involved heavily for the last decade or so with rollovers, rolling over retirements and funds that persons would obtain through leaving one job and going to another. Lots of times when people leave certain jobs, they wonder, well, what do I do with this money? Do I keep it where it is, or do I move it somewhere else? Most people don't know where to move it to, especially in a safe place.
Yeah.
And so those are the kinds of things that we specialize in, those kind of strategies. I'm also a licensed minister. I'm from Maryland, so I wasn't too far away from you all when you were here in Northern Virginia. And belonged to a church, the First Baptist Church of Highland Park. Dr. Henry P. Davis III is the pastor there. So doing some things also with my own church. It's only recently over the last couple of years that even I've done a more focus, let's say, on the faith-based organizations like Don has been talking about. We find that there's a great need for us to be educated financially in the faith-based arena. Many times it's kind of hard to, let's say, do a lot of work within your own church or even within, let's say, your own membership. And that's across the board. And many times we do work with persons out on the outside. I'm talking about from a congregational standpoint, but really a lot of times the answer is everything that we need many times is right there in our own house. So this is great with you all letting us come in now to share this information with you, to do some financial literacy, to know that these are people that, being Don and myself and our team, that we have your best interests at heart, and that there's some, persons that you can really, people that look like we look, just like. So we have a passion for educating our own people. Of course, we'll work with anyone, but it's when it comes to financial services and finances, that's a subject that we don't talk a lot about in our own community, and we need to. We're big consumers in society, but we don't do a lot of saving. And they people, per family, a lot of other countries, they save more money than we do as far as based on your level of income. They save a greater percentage of income in other countries. So we just want to do all of those, bring all that together.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks so much, Carl, for sharing, Don, for sharing a little bit about yourself. Just don't want the people to talk to strangers, right? Because our parents taught us don't talk to strangers. So figure we would do just a quick introduction, and then we could jump right into it. Since we displayed the video, Don, one of the questions, and Carl, you can chime in as well as the dialogue going on. So, and then Don, if I share. If I go to Frank, I mean Carl, you can do the same thing, chime in and and make and add or present a question that can just open up. And to those who are listening in tonight, if you have a question about the topics that we are discussing concerning finances, please do me a favor and put your questions in the chat. This is open. This is not a only Don got the bread. Him and Carl, they keeping all the secrets to themselves. No, they are trying to share the wealth. This is financial literacy tonight. We're here to bring understanding. We're here to bring education. With everything that is happening, we need to have a plan. We need to have things in place. We need to know that there's more than one way to get there. And these gentlemen are going to help us tonight. Don, somebody's asking a question like, where do I start? Carl mentioned that, with the retirement, is like, what do I do? Do I leave it here? Or even those who are building towards retirement? And based on the video that we just saw, with what's happening, where can we start for those who haven't started? And then we'll kind of pull those in who have started and then maybe looking for some other opportunities.
I think the best place to start is right here and right now, because you have an opportunity to take advantage of some information and access that a lot of people don't get. You know that you probably learned to tie your shoes or something else on the playground from Mookie Dem. And Mookie Dem told you what they knew, which usually was the wrong information. And you figured it out years later that was just a bad idea. A lot of us, we do our finances the same way. We do what Mookie Dem or, somebody who worked with us or our cousin or our sister told us, right? And we end up often in, not better shape than they are. But with what we're talking about, everything is not for everybody, right? We looked at that presentation on IUL. We looked at the topic of how to pay taxes like Bezos and Elon Musk, right? Now, the math is true. You too can position yourself to be in a tax advantaged position. Most of us are not, right? We pay, we work. Question?
I just wanted to highlight tax advantage situation, because some people say, how can I not pay taxes? And I don't know if that's but there are situations where you can have advantages.
Exactly. So you want to pay mostly none of it, right? And as long as it's legal, moral, and ethical, that's what we need to be about, right? You need to have a strategy. I work with clients every day, especially some of the older folks who are facing required minimum distributions and so forth. In other words, they've got deferred accounts and they haven't paid taxes on them. And what that means is Uncle Sam wants his money. He's sticking his hand up and he's saying, it's time. So we put strategies in place to where they can continue to quite frankly, put that money out of harm's reach. And again, I say this, if it's legal, moral, and ethical, let's talk about it, right? That tool that we displayed in the video, that being Indexed Universal Life, is a beautiful tool. It's a beautiful option. It's not for everybody, but I will say it is for most people, depending on what you've got set up, depending on where you're trying to go. And it starts with first the information and then doing the investigation and the examination. Educate yourself. I have a lot of clients, and sometimes I'm very fortunate. They know I'm a straight shooter, sometimes too straight. But, I have often a doctor-patient relationship with my clients. I'll say, hey, you should do this, you should do that. And they go, okay. But I like to educate people. I put a link in the chat, donwilson.financial. There's a you get some information on me and some of the things that I do. Also, there's a glossary there. There's where you can look stuff up if there's a financial topic, terms that you want to know about, or you just want to verify what I told you, right? Go on, click on that and find out. Do your research. But everybody should take a look at, in my opinion, everybody should take a look at cash value life insurance. It's a thing that rich folks have been using for years. The banks use it, the corporations use it, and individuals should use it, or at least have looked at an opportunity on how it may or may not work for you. And again, like I say, everything is not for everybody, but we need to look into your individual situation, figure out what you are trying to accomplish, and then bring some resources to bear. And we look at certain things. We know you got to spend less on taxes. We know that. We know we got to avoid debt. So we got to position you to do that. And that gives you that position. There's a phrase I bandy about all the time. Are you a spender, a saver, or a wealth creator? Right. And a lot of us, most of us, are spenders, as Carl indicated. African American community spends a whole bunch of money. 7th largest economy in the world is the African American community. Most of the money spent in that community, unfortunately, is spent on clothes, cars, cosmetics, and alcohol. And that's the legitimate side, right? Too many of us are not homeowners. Too many of us don't own equity in these financial instruments that we're talking about. But the opportunities are there. I sit down with clients all the time, and I have folks from all walks of life, but quite frankly, I like to work with people who look like me. Quite frankly, I'm not ashamed to say that, because I think that we have just not gotten opportunities. And I've been in rooms where I'm the only one sitting there who looks like me, and everybody getting rich and getting paid, and they look at me like I'm crazy. But I'm running back. I'm running back to the shop, and I'm sharing this information. And those that take advantage will, and those that don't. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, people who don't necessarily have employer-provided benefits or employer-provided retirement planning. So mortgage brokers, realtors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, folks in the gig economy who are making a lot of money. They got a lot of income coming in, but they don't have, again, an employer-sponsored pension or other retirement planning tools. But that doesn't mean that they can't take advantage of some of the same things that someone who works for the government or for Ford Motor Company or for in that W-2 environment, they can. And we use tools like this. Also work with a lot of pastors who, they pour everything they have into the church, into the congregation. They get a little older, sometimes they get a little sicker, and often they can't leave. They don't have a pension or other assets in place that will allow them to exercise a good exit plan. 2 years ago, we started working more with pastors, showing them tools like the one we demonstrated here and some others that give them an opportunity to truly develop a good exit plan. And it's no different than any other business owner does, right? A good business owner, you know what you're going to do while you're there. But if you're smart, you also factored in and did the math and set aside the money for an exit strategy, so that the young blood can come in, the congregation can stay fresh and new and all of that, and you can go and enjoy your golden years.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Carl, you can jump in on this as well. There's a question that came in as we were just talking about just funnels and opportunities for especially those who are nearing retirement or in retirement. Someone asked the question, what are some safe areas or safe investments after retirement? Those who want to invest after they've retired.
Our favorite product, and I even use this with my own mother. She was using another financial advisor that she had met through. She's a retired educator, so a gentleman had came and spoken to, did a presentation, everything. She ended up using him, but he had her in. He had most of her money was in the market, in mutual funds and things like that. So she started losing about $10,000 a month, and I ended up stepping in and saving the day, because the biggest product that we share for retirement is called a fixed index annuity. The fixed index annuity. Yeah, fixed index annuity, because you have the benefit of the growth of your money. Even most times getting a bonus on the money when you roll it over, and you only realize the gains. So now you don't have to worry about losing any money. You never lose your principal. And if the indexes that the fund or your account are based on ever don't make money, you just don't, your account just doesn't increase, but you never lose. So once I put persons in those kind of products, there's a comfort level that you don't have to keep looking at your account every other day to see that did you lose any money. So it's almost hard to believe that. You mean I can only realize gains and no losses? Yeah. And see, I think we really didn't realize, most people in society didn't realize that it was possible to lose money in your retirement until about, over the last 10 years when we saw the market go down and persons start seeing their 401ks drop in value. And then they realize that, wow, you mean I don't have any control over this unless you move your money to cash, and then then it'll level out. So the fixed index annuity, there's several different types of products and companies that we use depending on the situation, and that's the best way to go, because in your later years you don't want to have your money in the market where you're losing money. You just want to gain money. If you want to gain, if you're conservative, we can put you in something more conservative. If you still have a little bit more of a risk tolerance, you want to be a little bit more aggressive, we can do that. But at least there's some options where you can allow your money to grow safely.
Yeah, that's
and also turn it into an income stream that will last for the rest. That will cover you for the rest of your life.
Talk that talk, Carl.
A guaranteed income stream that you cannot outlive. And Carl brings up a specific topic, that being indexing, right? So he mentioned fixed indexed annuities. We watched a video on indexed universal life. So let's understand this term indexing. What does that mean? What is that all about, right? So indexing, that form of cash accumulation, is used on a lot of different tools. There are stock market options that are based on index. There's real estate that's based on indexing. How indexing essentially works is your money is invested in a reflection or an index, right, that's tied to the stock market, but your money is not directly in the stock market. So if that index or that reflection, right, does well, then you do well. There are usually some caps though, right? Let's say there's a 10, 15, 20% cap. It depends on the tool that we're using, right? They're using some caps. But if that index does poorly, if it goes down 100 points and everybody else is jumping out of the window, right? Like 2008, you know what I mean? The worst you can ever do is zero. I just didn't gain. I stayed at my last gain. I went up. I had a 2% gain, a 4% gain, a 6% gain, 12% gain, and I'm doing really good, right? Then the market went down 100 points. I stayed at my last gain, right? I simply ride that out. That's a beautiful thing. That's the power of indexing, because market volatility, you have to have it to lose it. I look at it like a casino. And for me, the best thing about any casino is the shows and the food. But going in there and risking my hard-earned money is just not my thing. Okay, because I know that it's set up for me to lose, right? The market is based on some of the same principles, right? I mean, you can have some good times in the market, and you can earn a lot of money, but you can also lose a lot of money. And what it comes down to is never risk what you can't afford to lose. I sit down with clients all the time, and I say, they got a retirement nest egg, and I will ask, how much of this can you afford to lose?
And Don, we always say, well, I ain't got no money to be losing.
See, and that's usually the answer. And then I say, well, and then I'll do a report for them, and I'll give them a report that, after we do the analysis, and we'll say, well, 40% of your assets is at risk, right? You got it in this mutual fund here. You've got it in some other market-based accounts. Did you know that? No. Well, it's got it through my job or through wherever, and they're not sure. Well, I love safe money. Now I got some things that I play with, right? I got 4 or 5, apps on my phone, Robinhood and some other things, and I play with that money. And sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down, but I can afford to lose that, right? But the money that I'm trying to ride off into the sunset with, I can't afford to lose it. And I'm okay having a cap gain, right? If the market goes up 180 points, whatever, right? I may only get 12, 15. I'm fine with that, because I'm still very, very comfortable in knowing that I'm going to be okay. My money's under a rock and ain't nobody moving that rock but me. So, it does start with understanding what is out there. And then there's another thing that, I ask people this question. By show of hands, how many people have a dentist? Everybody raise their hand. I don't let nobody but Dr. Smith, work on my teeth. How many people have a tax guy? I always go to this guy. Okay. How many people have a financial services representative? No hands go up, right? So you have to have a professional that you can trust, who's transparent, who returns your calls, and who have resources, right? Not always just selling you what's in a briefcase. And, full disclosure, I worked for a long time for a company, right? And the only thing that I could sell was what was in my briefcase. And I was going to make an argument that you needed what was in my briefcase. That wasn't bad stuff in my briefcase, but I knew there was more in the marketplace that may have been better for you.
Yeah.
But now, as an independent broker, I can sell anything, any company that's worth representing and that brings some legitimate solutions to my clients. I can represent that company. So I'm more comfortable in knowing that I'm bringing real-time, up to date, effective solutions to my clients, as opposed to just what I'm being paid to sell, or what I get the best commission on. And Carl will tell you, we got a product, we don't get great comp on it, but it's when it fits, it fits. And I push that product because it's just the best thing for folks out there. And I know that when I do good by folks, I'm gonna get mine.
Yeah.
And that's frankly how we work, right? All I got to do is take care of enough people, and I'm going to get mine.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. There he is. Yeah.
If I'm bouncing, if it looks like I'm bouncing, forgive me. I'm sitting on a balance ball, and
man, it's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that's is that an ergonomic thing? Is that a
you know what? It is an old man and a bad back thing, right? I mean, we sit a lot, and I find that later in the day my back bothers me. But when I sit on this balance ball, it forces me to engage my core throughout the day.
Yeah.
And to sit more erect, and my back doesn't bother me. So I spend most of the day sitting on this ball, and I can do some exercises, and you know what I mean.
Totally understand.
You got to keep that machine running as best you can. So, but again, forgive me. Sometimes I look on the screen and I'm bouncing, and it's because I'm sitting on this ball.
Well, cool. Thank you for sharing that information. And again, to those who are watching, again, please share this conversation on this evening. I am here with Don Wilson and his partner, Carl Frank Felton II of Civil Benefits Group, and we're talking financial literacy tonight. We understand with the up and down of the economy, we understand the times of what people are calling the Great Resignation. We understand, or we are hearing about inflation, what things look like, and how the rates and things are going up. One of the things, Carl, maybe you can chime in on this. One of the things that they talked about in the wealth building piece was the house and building equity in the house. Well, we now know that the rates of loans have increased and kind of almost priced a lot of people out, especially those, first-time home buyers. So in the financial industry, how do you coach your clients on dealing with things like inflation?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. Generally, what happens is as rates go up, prices either stabilize or go down. Let's say back in the 80s when rates were in the double digits, and when my first mortgage was at 11.5% on day.
Yeah, people don't know that, right? So it's like they're like, oh, rates so high. I've never and my wife told me that one of her coworkers was at 18% and had to refi several times to get it down to like 11%, right? Like after a certain amount of years. But when they first started in I think it was like early 80s, it was like 18% or something like that. So go ahead, please share. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I kind of struck a chord there, huh? Yeah, yeah. So that being said, and I know that right now we're in a situation where rates are high, but values are still holding steady as well. So, and so it's kind of a unique situation, but there's other loan products. When rates have been as low as they've been, which were historically low, um, everyone wanted the 15-year fixed rate, the 30-year fixed, but there's also other products, other kind of adjustable rate mortgages, which maybe a 3-year fixed mortgage or a 5-year fixed rate, and then it would adjust annually after that. So there's other products that will have a lower interest rate than what's being quoted right now when people look at 30-year fixed. So there's products to help a person to have more buying power, and the other part of this is that uh, instead of someone buying this year, they may have to save a little bit more money and be ready next year, and maybe instead of putting 3.5% down, maybe you're in a position to put 5% down or something like that. So it just allows us right now to kind of have to, to kind of focus more on saving, make sure that that our credit is in order, so that we're able to buy and able to take advantage
Talk
of
about it.
the different products that are out there. And it's something that is new to some that are just getting out there in the home buying arena. But as you and I were just talking, it's not anything that's new historically. So we just have to govern ourselves accordingly. Um, Unfortunately, play the hand we're dealt for now, but be mindful to be open enough to take a look at some of the other products that may be an adjustable rate mortgage or something like that, and then know that whatever mortgage you get right now, you're not going to keep forever. The life of a mortgage is actually only 5 to 7 years. Even though we get 30-year mortgages, most people, you don't keep a mortgage for 20, 25, 30 years.
Wow.
You're always looking for the best deal. So once people have ample equity, most people are looking to see how they can lower their rate. Previously, people were lowering the rate from 4.5 to go down to 3.5. Maybe they were at 5%,
Yeah.
and then down to 3.5. So it just puts us in a position that you may buy at one rate, have one rate for now, but later on you are going to eventually refi, and you won't have that rate forever.
Yeah. Don, what Carl and I was just talking about for a brief moment, just with everything happening, I kind of ran down a couple of scenarios, and then we ended up on inflation. Um, you know, as we're talking about financial literacy and education, just some of the things that people can do to kind of help offset, cost, and then even with the wealth building piece, the opportunity for those who don't have a home to actually purchase a home, and just kind of share something that people can start looking at how to maneuver, just so that they can position themselves to be a part of the wealth building process, going from consumer to investor, going from consumer to saver. You want to chime in on that?
Yeah, for me, it's all about equity, and equity comes in a lot of forms. But I'm going to go back to this IUL because I'm a big believer in that tool. Now, you may not be able to afford a home. You may not have the down payment for a home. You may not have the credit for a home. But if you are contributing properly to a well-structured IUL, 5, 7, maybe 10 years, it depends on a lot of different variables, you will be in position to become a homeowner because you have equity. The difference between people with money is people and people who have not a lot of money is using other people's money, right? Leverage. You have to have leverage, you have to have collateral, and you can build that up in a cash value insurance policy. It's a great thing to be able to say, look, I want to, and again, this gets back to that spender, saver, wealth creator, right? When you buy capital goods, if you buy a car and you go out and you got to get financed and you got to play that credit game and all these other things, right? Wouldn't it be better to have some capital that you have access to and you can borrow that money from yourself? Wouldn't it be better to have equity in your home or in your IUL or other investment vehicles, and you borrow that money from yourself, and you don't have to pay it back, right? To me, that is the difference between, the haves and the have-nots, right? People who have money, they don't play these games. And Carl just mentioned the average mortgage is 5 to 7 years. There's a lot of reasons for that. Another good reason why mortgages don't last so long is because our government and the companies that lobby, they want you to spend your money. It's just like an iPhone, right? It's built-in obsolescence is what it is, to get you to have to come back out here and pay the fees and all that other stuff and get your money ginned back into the system, right? You buy an iPhone 48 or whatever, in 18, 24 months, they're going to slow it down and it won't charge and it won't do this or that. And you got to go out and buy another iPhone. Okay. Our system is rigged the same way with mortgages, right? They're going to make sure that you have no choice but to go out there and you feel like you're making a good decision because I'm going to get a lower interest rate, blah, blah, blah. Not suggesting it's necessarily a bad decision, but I am saying do understand that our system is designed for you not to hold on to your money. Something is going to tell you, I need to go out there and do what everybody else is doing. I need to refi. And when you go refi, everybody gets paid, right? The mortgage broker, the realtor, it's 5 other people with their hand out. So I think, and again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but just do understand how our system works in this country. So what we also have to do is do our best to develop personal equity, accounts that we have access to, right? That we don't have to qualify for, we don't have to beg for, we have access to because we put into them, they earned appropriately, and we want to access that money. We just, pick up the phone, we enter in our code, we enter in the money, how much we want, and it'll be in our account the next day, right? That's equity. And there are tools that you have access to right now that we could show you, that we could help you with, or your personal broker can help you. But everybody, remember that word, right? Equity. You want to have some. If it's in your home, if it's in your financial instruments, if it's in the real estate you invest in, so that, again, you are not at the whim of other folks. I just hate to go begging. I really do. And
I think most of us do, Don.
Yeah,
I think most of us do.
I've taught. I shared a little bit this with you earlier today when we chatted. I have 4 kids. I have 2 grown kids from my practice marriage, and then I have a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old with my present wife. And I'd love to be my kids because they live good. I want to grow up to be one of my kids. You know what I mean? Because they live good. But then, secondly, I've learned to be able to tell them how a certain that is less than 1% of the population understand this. So money is made 2 ways: people working or money working. 1 or 2 ways. And I grew up, it was always about learning to work. You go to school, you get a job, and you work. Nothing wrong with that. Excellent advice. My parents did very well working, and they taught that and drilled that into me. But I taught my kids, nothing wrong with working, but if you're smart, you get your money working for you, right? You get other people working for you. You don't always trade labor for dollars. And don't let that be your guiding principle that you want to trade labor for dollars. My daughter was 16. She got a job at Arby's, and they paid her $150 signing bonus and $18 an hour because it was just into COVID, right? They couldn't get people, and she worked, and then she was like, I don't like this. She was like, is there some other stuff that I should be doing? And I was like, I'm glad you got that, right? Because you got to work all those hours, right? Trade all that labor for dollars, and there is a better way.
Yeah, that's good. And I think, man, what what a great way to segue, kind of to the closing of the night. I know we have a I would call this a case study in the chat. I purchased live insurance with a component that invests into the stock market. North Carolina State has put a hold on this company investing. $25,000 of mine is frozen in company. I don't know how to get it. Now, Don, I don't know if you want to answer that here or if this should be a phone call.
I'd love to chat with that young lady. I can tell you, I don't know much from what we just read, the face value of what we just read, but it doesn't sound right. The insurance company cannot hold your money, right? If it's your money, you have access to it. Now, if there's some litigation against that company or something like that, we don't know. But, insurance companies are highly regulated at the state level and at the federal level and at the industry level. And if you have legitimate assets in an insurance company, they should not be preventing you from access to your assets. And if it's me, they're going to have to show me why, right? I mean, I need something in writing. If it's my $25,000, I need my $25,000 yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't care who's suing you or who you're suing. I need to know. But again, just based on what I'm learning in that, it doesn't sound right to me. I'd be glad to talk to you. I mean,
Don, what's your email address?
Don at Civil Benefits Group.us.
So go ahead. We're putting Don, we're putting his email address up here, and then we're gonna also put it in the comment section under that particular case study. But man, we appreciate you brothers coming on tonight. Listen, I want you to leave with some last words. We have a couple minutes. I just want you to leave with some last words. I know you shared a wealth of information today that I think will definitely encourage people to reach out, as well as just kind of take initiative and ownership of their finances and where they are, and what those next steps look like for them, regardless of whether they're just starting, they're in the middle, or they're towards the they're in a place where they've already retired and kind of just looking for some other opportunities. So some parting words from the good brothers on tonight.
Go ahead, Carl.
I would just say to be open to continue to educate yourselves, and that in order for things to change, we must change. And we have the roadmap to be followed to allow all of us to work towards being debt-free and to build wealth.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And again, for me, just reiterating much of what was covered today, remember, money is made two ways, right? People working and money working. Everybody here probably got a job, okay? Does everybody here have money that's working? And if not, I'm telling you, you're missing something. And we need to chat, or you need to find somebody to chat with that can show you how you can get some money working. I hate lazy money. I hate money that don't work. I hate people. I mean, I don't hate people, but I hate it when I find people got no money that's working for them, right? The opportunities are out there, right? And we'll show you how to crack the whip on your money.
There we go. Man, so what an amazing night, an amazing conversation. If you would like a part two, let's talk about it, man. I mean, it's because this topic is not a 40-minute conversation, right? Because, I mean, again, there are a myriad of ways to reach the financial goals. There are different funnels and different channels, rather, and investment opportunities for people to grow their money. This is not an overnight thing. I want to just let everybody know this is not an overnight thing. Both of these gentlemen have well over 25 years in business and the industry, and they've garnered information, they've garnered education to help people build wealth especially amongst the African American community. We need it, and within the African American church, we need it, right? Because too many people are passing, and either it's a GoFundMe or the family has to meet with the pastor. And it's different things. Some get insurance policies and they cancel them, for whatever reason. Let's talk with someone to help you through some of the challenges that you may face, and before you cancel that policy and endanger yourself and your family financially, let's talk to Carl, and let's talk to Don, or as they even mentioned earlier, if you have someone, go talk to them, but make sure you're asking questions about where your money's going, because nobody's trying to retire and you find out, you're scheduled to retire next year, you find out your money's been sitting in the market the whole time, and the market is down. And I mean, like 2020 down, not just 2020 down, and so
you're a greeter, and you got to be a greeter at Walmart now, just to handle your prescriptions.
Facts, So yes, so thank you, brothers, so much for the education and the help tonight. We look forward to sharing more conversation with you and to our listening audience. Please share this information, share this live tonight. We put their information up. The information is in the chat. So when this is shown, you'll be able to see how you can reach them. Again, Don's direct email is don@civilbenefitsgroup.usa. And tonight we are talking to Carl Frank Felton, the second of Civil Benefits Group, and Don Wilson of Civil Benefits Group. And tonight you are listening from IBW Wealth Building Tuesday. So everybody have a great night. God bless. And, tomorrow night, we're coming back tomorrow night with some updates, leadership conference. Check your emails, check your text messages. Those e-blasts will be going out. But again, we thank Don and Carl of Civil Benefits Group for joining us tonight. God bless everybody. Have an amazing and wonderful evening.
Thank you.
God bless. Thank you.